welcome back to Binging the Force, your Star Wars weekly rewatch podcast. We're rewatching the new episodes coming out of the amazing Ahsoka series. Joining us this week are Jefferson,
Hello.
Kim,
Hello.
and a new person, Erin.
Hello.
Erin's another local convention organizer and top master cosplayer in the Colorado area.
Very exciting.
Cool. And then Jefferson, you've got some exciting. You won't be with us next week because you're going to be doing something exciting Star Wars related, aren't you?
I am going to not only am I going to the Galactic Starcruiser hotel thingy at Disney World in Florida, but I will be in the very last 2 days of it. As I don't know, as most people probably know by now, they're closing it down.
Yep.
And just by chance, I happened to book the 2 days that I booked happen to be the last 2 days that it'll be open. So,
are you bringing a book of matches so you can burn the place down when you're done?
No, but I've been advised to steal the sheets and towels.
Don't think Disney's going to care.
Official souvenirs.
What was that?
Official souvenirs.
Yes, exactly. I mean, they'll probably have the sheets and towels on sale in the gift shop. Disney leaves no dollar unclaimed. So
yeah.
But we've been planning the trip for about 4 months now. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Wow.
Sweet. I hear it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if you let yourself immerse yourself into it, you'll have a great time.
Right. That's why while I'm not normally a costume person at all, I did buy a replica of Han Solo's jacket from the Solo movie, and I will wear that while we're there too.
Sweet.
That's as close to costuming as I get. My wife went all out. She's been putting together a costume. She started with a Jyn Erso costume, and she's been kind of modifying it to make it less a specific character and more just her own character. So I think it'll be a lot of fun.
I think for Galactic Starcruiser kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Because it's more just you're a person who lives in that universe and
exactly.
you're on this trip. So
right, yeah, you're not meant to be a character from the movie. You're meant to be yourself in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, you're just a tourist with a lot of you're just a Star Wars universe adult with a lot of extra spending cash.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what the exchange rate is between galactic credits and dollars, so it might be really cheap from that point.
It's not going to be cheap.
No, it's definitely not cheap.
Try to explain that one to Bank of America and see if they can lower it.
Yeah, not in Earth currency. No, it's not. But I think it'll be worth it, and I think that it's unfortunate that it's closing, and I think it's mainly due to a massive failure of marketing on Disney's part. They've done a terrible job of explaining what it is, and why it's actually worth the extremely high price tag. But yeah,
I mean, they positioned it as like basically a fantasy cruise kind of thing. It's like, I mean, if they tried to advertise it like going on the Disney cruise, which is way more expensive than most other cruises, by the way, because I've looked, and with a child, I'd really looked at booking a Disney cruise many times. I'm like, yeah, Carnival is a cruise too,
Yeah. And so the thing that finally made us pull the trigger and decide to do it, we saw a review on YouTube. There's a game designer that I follow on YouTube, and he just does game reviews for board games and stuff. And he went to the Starcruiser with a big group of his friends, and he was so blown away by the experience that he dedicated a whole episode of his review show just to talking about his experience of doing it. So hearing him talk about it from the point of view of a game designer and of it being kind of a game, sort of a live role-playing game, that was what tipped us over and made us decide we would do it. Plus, we don't have any children to put through college, so
yeah. But they have one room that was 10 people, holds 10 people. If you could get a group of 10 people, so you know them. But I barely sleep with anyone else in a different room. I'm not going to sleep with 8 strangers.
Right, exactly. So for 2 people, I think 2 people is the most expensive that it's going to be, because they can't
your own room.
Yeah. Two of us in our own room. And I think my impression is that most of the rooms are designed for families rather than just couples. So it's that's like a double bed and then a couple of bunks for kids. But yeah, they won't even. You can't even really do a single person reservation. You have to reserve for at least two. If you reserve for one, you're for two anyway.
I'm only 5'6". I'm pretty small. I can fit in a bunk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's one last thing, and then we'll get to the Ahsoka episode. The one sort of sticking point for us has been that somehow our cat figured out that we had just booked a extremely expensive and non-refundable vacation. And our cat got really sick a couple of weeks ago, and so we were looking at, well, what are we going to do if we can't refund this? So, and we were looking at maybe only one of us would go, and we would try to find a friend who could take the other spot. Unfortunately for you, Michael, the cat is fine, so we're definitely both going. The cat has made a full recovery. Well, not a full recovery because she's 12 years old, but she's made a recovery, and is no longer standing in the way of us going.
Okay, well, and I do have a child who's been on this show who will be here next week, so and who does want to go to college at some point. So
yes, exactly.
But we'll most likely need to really start working on those scholarships right now.
Yeah, but I'll come back with a full report. I'll take a ton of photos. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be very exciting.
Well, hopefully Erin has a good time and maybe you can join us next week. So let's go ahead and jump into the episode. It is Ahsoka. Now I keep always getting it wrong. Okay, it's not chapter. It's part. It's Ahsoka Part 6. Far, far away, which is interesting. Okay, so we've got our previously on here. Previously
with the dramatic
on
music.
Yeah, it kind of loses something without the music, but yeah, previously on Ahsoka.
Yeah,
people put themselves in positions to get in trouble.
Right, exactly. Because drama doesn't work if the characters behave in a sane and rational manner.
True, yes. Rule breakers do not make good television.
No, they really don't.
Or rule followers, I guess.
Rule followers, yeah.
Yeah, rule followers do not make good television. Yeah.
Certainly not in the Star Wars universe, where it is very much the Wild West in outer space.
Yeah. So previously on, basically, we actually had an Ahsoka episode on the series Ahsoka, where the episode was actually focusing on Ahsoka.
Sure.
Hence my title for last week's episode. It is actually an Ahsoka show.
It is.
And then I didn't think we were going to see. Sorry. I didn't think we were going to see any of her today.
I was going to say, and then we'll get into the opening scene here where we do get Ahsoka and we never see her again.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if she's gotten one episode out of 6. I don't know if she's claimed back her show yet or not.
You did watch Book of Boba Fett, right?
Distant Purrgil calls. Like someone who actually can't hear reading Purrgil calls. Exactly what is a Purrgil call?
Yeah, hopefully they know what a Purrgil is at least.
Exactly. So I don't know as a close captioning.
Clearly a star whale. So
yeah, space whale.
Space whales.
Space whales. Space whales in the kaleidoscope of fun.
Yes.
What do you suppose it would have looked like if they had tried to realize the space whales in 1983 for Return of the Jedi?
Man.
I don't know. I think they got a little bit of J.J. Abrams in here.
Yeah, there's some definite lens flare there.
Yes.
So we still have Ahsoka the White.
Mm-hmm. And Huyang the mildly sarcastic.
Yes. History of the Galaxy, parts 1, 2, and 3.
So obviously, part 1 is A New Hope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's channeling Mel Brooks now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
History of the Universe, part 1.
These
Yeah, so he offers
15
to tell her a story.
Oh, I mean 10.
Yeah.
I do like Huyang as a character, though.
Absolutely.
I'm not just saying that because I'm a Doctor Who fan.
I was gonna say I would listen to David Tennant / Yang all day. It's fine.
Yeah.
So actually, I think even before the lockdown, but David Tennant has reprised his role as Doctor Who in a series of audio stories that are published by a company called Big Finish. And over the lockdown, they sent recording equipment to all of their stars so they could record at home. To the point where at one point Amazon cut them off and wouldn't let them buy any more microphones because they were buying so many they thought they were reselling them or something.
Oh wow.
My point is that probably David Tennant is sitting on his couch under a duvet or something, recording his lines from the show.
Right.
Because he's got all the equipment at home already.
Yeah, I doubt he was anywhere near a set or a soundstage or anything for this show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And possibly not even a recording booth, because with all the distortion they put on his voice, the quality of his recording doesn't even need to be that good.
But it's still clearly David Tennant. Yeah.
Yeah, and still a great performance.
I guess actually, now that I think about it, with as big a Who fan as you are, have you ever been to Gallifrey, the con in LA?
I have not.
Okay.
It's such an amazing.
Yeah, I know Erin has several times. I've been twice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't live that far from LA these days either, so I don't really have much of an excuse. It's just
so here's a big thing. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Hu Yang is telling her a story. There's now fan online debate. Is Hu Yang the generator of those crawls at the beginning of all Star Wars movies? I mean, is all of Star Wars a tale that Hu Yang is telling to younglings?
Sure, why not?
Because now we know his storytelling style is he starts with.
Well, he's old enough to have been there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and to know it, so it could be real.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think knowing that changes the story very much.
No, but it's fun fan speculation that that all of Star Wars is just one long story that he's been telling a group of younglings like on a camping trip,
or just telling Ahsoka on their ride to the, because we don't know how long it takes to get to the galaxy.
Well, they don't either.
Yeah,
and we will never see them this episode again. So the Ahsoka series is now fully back to. We are going to be full on Rebel.
Lots of Balin. I'm okay with that.
Yes.
Sorry, what was that, Erin?
Oh, just the Rebel season 5 is pretty much exactly what this is.
Yeah. That's definitely where we're going. The rest of this episode is Rebel season 5. So yeah, she's in a cell. I mean, you promised me I'd see Ezra again. We had a deal. Promise he does. Pray he does not change it further. But
I love that look that he gives her before he walks away. It was a great little sort of, really, you fell for this look.
Yeah, exactly. And then some podcast was saying the decor and all this other stuff, and I'm like, that cell looks very uncomfortable. No padding, no pillows.
Yep. No potting.
Makes you wonder. I mean, they purpose built this ship for this voyage, right? So what made them think they were going to need a detention cell?
Maybe that is what the rooms are. It may not be a jail cell.
Yeah.
Is that just how ingrained the bad behavior of the Empire is in these people?
Well, I think, or just how institutional, that whatever contractors they use to build this thing, that have kind of standard things that they build. They always build a detention cell because the Empire just, on all the Empire requisitions, it's just a standard line item.
Sure, yeah. Well, of course we're going to need to lock people up.
Even the Bronco Stadium has jail cells.
Well, sometimes the Raiders fans do come to town. So, the end of a migration route. So, I mean, all of a sudden here we have a whole bunch of new information about what is known about this, that the space whales are a known thing that everyone talks about them, that this other galaxy is a known thing that has always been talked about. I mean,
it's known by these three people in this scene. But,
it sounds like it's been known by the witches of Dathomir.
Yeah, and exactly. So that's my thought, is that it's the witches that know all this stuff, and they're not really known for sharing.
Not so much.
So here's the graveyard.
Yeah, space whale graveyard. Yeah,
space whale graveyard.
They're star whales.
These great droid puppets that they have on this series.
Those could be practical and just.
I'm sure they are. Honestly, because they don't move well enough.
Rides.
Yeah, I mean, they've got similar stuff at the rides. Yeah, so I mean,
exactly.
when you walk through in LA and you go to the Star Wars area at Disneyland, I mean, you see stuff like that all the time. So that could totally be animatronic.
Yeah, why bother making it CG if you don't need to?
Yeah, but I do think there's some amazing CG.
The most amazing CG is the CG that I don't realize is CG. So
yeah. When you can't tell it's CG, that's good CG.
Right, exactly.
And what is her damage right here? That look. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we still don't know a lot of the motivations. I mean, we don't know how he found her, how they got together, how he even discovered, that she was a force wielder to train her and everything. That's a backstory that, like a lot of streaming shows normally, like you have at least one episode that is like a full on backstory of at least
all
one
the
or two
main characters.
Yeah, it's like I would love to get, backstory on her and backstory on Balin.
I'm okay. I think Star Wars has always been that way. You
Yeah.
get a little bit of this person, if you
Yeah.
get Thrawn, and then you wait 10 years, and then here's some more, and you're
We
like,
still don't
oh
know
my gosh.
Snoke.
Say what?
We still don't know a lot about Snoke.
No.
Yeah, I don't think I even care about that dude.
Well, they basically made it that way because you were never given enough information to care about it, and then took him out and made him just, I mean, it was like that character early on, I kept calling the M person, the person with the M name, who like we all speculated was going to be some big important thing, and then they took them out immediately. It's like, yeah, we weren't supposed to care about them,
Yeah,
So
Snoke
does
to me
this-
was so confusing.
Yeah, and that's
Like,
why I
was
say
he bigger than everybody else? Was he the same size? I don't even know.
Yeah, henceforth we will call that Snoking a character.
So does this place they just landed remind anybody else of Minas Tirith from Lord of the Rings?
A little bit.
Well, I was thinking it's just exactly what they left. I mean, I keep complaining about like, the Sith or the Jedi, the Sith and the witches of Dathomir spent all their time like erecting these places all over the galaxy, so clearly they used the same architect here.
Okay, so here's something fun. I didn't notice this yesterday, but I did earlier today. I'm not because I read the cast list, but so there's some sci-fi royalty among the three.
I'd read that, but I didn't read who, so I knew that was the case. But go ahead and tell.
So one of them, I can't tell which one, but one of them is Claudia Black from Farscape.
Really?
Yes.
So I'd seen an article saying that two of the characters here were people who'd been in sci-fi stuff, but I didn't read further enough to get to who. So one of them is Claudia Black. Interesting, from Farscape.
I'm not sure which one. I'll have to watch it again on a full screen.
I was not a huge Farscape fan, but my ex-wife was, so I did have to watch the whole thing.
Farscape was amazing.
I love Farscape. It's one of my favorites.
These costumes are amazing as well.
Yeah. The color, that red
of Jedi.
Yeah, and then now it makes me need to go back and watch Clone Wars.
Now, what's interesting is they refer to her reeking of Jedi, but not the two Jedi.
Right.
But they're not Jedi.
Well, I know, but they are Force wielders.
Yeah, that's what but they're not Jedi.
They're not. Well, Balin was trained, but he's a fallen Jedi, so maybe he doesn't quote unquote smell. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
But it's weird that she, as far as we know, she does not really have any discernible Force abilities yet, although we do see them here.
She keeps trying, but
I think maybe this was to confirm that she does. This is to put the stamp of approval on it. I don't know.
I mean, having the 3 ball things with like lights and lasers and stuff, wouldn't it just be easier to have someone walk her? Seems like a lot of technology for an effort that could be much more easily done by a minion.
Yeah, but they're showing off, Michael.
They could have killed everybody. Who knows?
Yeah, they might not have
the whole question of like how these witches got there in the first place.
Sure.
Yeah, how do they live? What do they eat? What Yeah,
what are they doing there this whole time? Because they didn't come with Thrawn. I mean, they weren't on that Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
no, they were. They came on the Star Whales forever ago, but there only seems to be like 3 of them,
right?
That we know of.
I guess that means they're not eating that much food. So
yeah.
But to me, it just looks like, it looks familiar because it looks exactly like the place that they left on the other side.
Sure. Yeah. Well, they're like train stations. They follow a set pattern.
They're like Walmarts. They're all built the same.
Right.
This one seems to be a little bit better, well kept.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what those witches have been doing the whole time. They've been dusting and vacuuming.
Scrubbing this stuff,
adding all the gold to that beautiful line work and such. So.
In there with the toothbrushes, scrubbing everything out.
Yeah, so here he talks about that. I mean, he talks all the time about stories in the temple. So yeah, he was raised, fully as a Jedi till he was about her age. He says here, so he, he was around her age when the purge happened. So he had enough time, and he refers to stories in the temple and having been raised there. And so, I mean, he heard stories about this place and the witches and all that kind of stuff. So I guess Jedis are all raised with these tales.
Mm-hmm.
So would Hunain know him?
Well, Hu Yang did remember him. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
He remembered his lightsaber.
True.
Right.
Yeah, true. He remembered the lightsaber, but he didn't remember teaching him to build the lightsaber.
That's how he remembers everybody, is by their
Right.
lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt that was a little controversial. It's like he remembers the lightsaber, but if he knows the lightsaber and he has files on all the Jedi, but he doesn't recognize his face, I don't know. That's still a sketchy.
Well, I think he said something about he would have to look into his memory banks and it could take some time, or that he would have to do something. I think when he was talking to someone,
sure,
previously.
Sure. We're talking about hundreds of years of memories. I mean, maybe his search function just isn't that good.
I'm going to enter an area that is not my expertise, but. Sorry, go ahead.
He needs to upgrade to Google search.
Yeah.
I was going to cross into your territory, Erin, and talk about. I was digging on her armor there, the kind of raised sections there, like more of a medieval armor kind of thing. I really dig that,
Yeah, when I first saw her character, I was trying to figure out like where they pulled. Where in the Star Wars universe they would have pulled some of these pieces from, these aesthetics. So,
yeah, I mean, to me, it's more reminds more of medieval armor than.
Yeah, absolutely. In Terran history, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what we see in live action, discounting what we see in the animated, shows the Jedi generally aren't that big on armor.
No,
they don't usually wear armor.
They are not Jedi.
Yes, exactly.
Well, Obi-Wan did in Clone Wars.
In Clone Wars, but never in live action.
Yeah.
Well, in the video games, a lot of them did.
Again, never in live action.
So she's trying. She's giving it a shot with the Force.
I think in live action, all we've had is our regular Skywalker Jedis. I mean, we've just not really had a big.
Yeah, last week basically was the first time we had seen Anakin's, Clone Wars armor replicated into live action for the first time, which was really, really cool.
It was neat.
So I don't think she had any Jedi or Force
power.
No,
I think it was just rumbling because of the ship.
I agree, yeah.
And Michael, here comes your ship being steady theory.
Yeah, they were trying to make you think that she was going to actually use the Force, but no, it's just it's a big honking Star Destroyer showing up. Yeah,
right.
Kudos to the pilot that can keep it steady for that long.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a great shot here, though.
Yeah, it's just amazing to see that it's definitely been taking some wear and tear over the last. I mean, what would it say since Rebels season 4? This is about a decade, right?
I think it's meant to be. Yeah, so I think it's meant to be like 6 or 7 years, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's more like 5 to.
Well, no, because I mean, the Mandalorian is 5 years post Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi from there to A New Hope is like 4 or 5 years, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So I mean,
Rebels, this is 8 years
right
at least
before A New Hope.
I thought they were gonna like Jedi leap up into it or something, and then it comes down, and I'm like, I'm just really confused. And then it's like, holy crap, what's going on?
It's been about 10 years since Thrawn and Ezra were taken to this galaxy.
And do these guys look like they've been through something?
Yeah, that's
So Shauna Tripstick, who's the costume designer for Ahsoka, she was also the costume designer for everyone's favorite Firefly and quite a few other things. She did all of season 2 on Mandalorian, Boba Fett, all that type of stuff. But her inspiration for these troopers is the kintsugi, the gold work, where you basically reassemble a bowl with gold as the color, so you're accenting all of the cracks.
That's what I thought as well. Yeah. And somebody else was saying it's Roman because Thrawn's really Roman with all the gold. I'm like, I don't know.
No, it's straight up Japanese.
Gotcha. That's what I thought.
But yeah, so it is a whole new class of troopers. So yeah, the 501st now has a whole new division for armorers to start creating the night troopers.
And the lead trooper there, the one with the gold face, Captain
And
Enoch,
the
is more
voice.
sci-fi TV royalty. That is Wes Chatham, who is a regular on The Expanse, the
Uh-huh.
Amazon
don't know that
sci-fi
one.
show.
That's a good show.
It is a great show.
I don't know that one.
I
But so we've talked about characters from the animated reprising their roles. So this is the same actor who did the voice of Thrawn in Rebels.
Yep, and his brother played Galen Erso in Rogue One.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
One of the Mickelson boys. Yep.
Yep. So Tim and I were debating on how much of Thrawn's makeup is makeup versus CG touch-up and such.
I was grappling with that too. I think what's throwing me off is the eyes. I think if he had normal human eyes, we'd be able to tell whether it was makeup or CG. But he doesn't.
I don't know. I think it's makeup, and then the eyes are what's freaking you out, and those are probably CG to get him that bright.
It's
if you look close up, you can see some lines. You can see. I don't know. I looked at it really close up as well.
Yeah, I'd say the model for it is probably Paul Bettany as the Vision, where I mean, it's mostly practical and then highlighted with CGI.
Cheek implants. I can see a few, and if they did some, they should have went a little bit better. But I mean, hey, the voice is what's Thrawn, I think.
Yeah.
So did anyone else think Captain Enoch, this gold-faced trooper who's in charge or whatever, was going to reveal himself at some point to take off his helmet, and that was going to be Ezra?
No.
Did not.
Just me.
No.
That would have been neat,
later, when they're the other people in helmets, no one takes off their helmet. Like,
right?
Are they human? Are they what? I mean, like, just kill all these people and don't even look at them. Come on.
Well, and when they left in the last episode of Rebels, weren't there 3 Star Destroyers, if I remember correctly? Because it was Captain Pelion's, and I thought there were at least one other. I thought it was 3 Star Destroyers who got pulled by the Purgles.
Might be. I can't remember. I don't recall.
Yeah, or was it just one? I mean,
I just watched it and I thought it was just his.
Yeah, I thought it was just his, and that also explains all the damage on that ship too, because those Purgles were
not nice.
Not nice to the ship. So.
Well, but also it's been 10 years, so I mean they probably in order to build things to keep things going, they've probably had to cannibalize the ship. So
sure. I mean, was there an army there on that planet when they got there? I mean,
there was. Yeah, I mean, he had his ship crew.
Yeah,
he would have had.
I'm sure.
And not to get nerdy here, but I'm going to get nerdy here. A Star Destroyer has a crew of 10,000.
Okay. And we're kind of here to be nerdy, so go for it.
Right. And that doesn't even include the troops that would be aboard as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. So probably a lot of them got reassigned to become troopers at that point.
Sure. Or they didn't run out of food. I'm just saying.
Now, I think Thrawn is even more emotionless than he even was in the series. I mean, I think it's been obviously 10 years, and the whole point of Thrawn's character is it's supposed to be he's the ultimate tactician, he's the ultimate logician. He keeps it cool at all times.
Yeah, he always keeps it
cool. He's the Sherlock. He deducts things like Sherlock.
Yeah, but I think he even went even further here. I think translating the character to live action, he went even more emotionless.
Mm-hmm. And I just looked it up. It's been the end of Rebels epilogue where Ahsoka comes back. It's been 4 years between the Purgles taking off with Ezra and Thrawn and Ahsoka showing up on Lothal.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
I think.
Yeah, so they give her back all of her weapons, including her lightsaber. They give her back her armor, so she is wearing Beskar.
Die well.
Yeah, die well. Yeah, it's interesting that basically their way of saying, "Hey, you can go find Ezra," is here's a big honking wolf to ride, and here's all your weapons.
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of nomads out there and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, give you some food and hey, go have fun.
Yeah. So I'm asking Jeff, I'm like, so are we going to get new Tuscans then if they're saying nomads are out there and scandals and stuff? Like, are they going to be Tuscans? Are they going to be Jawas? What are they going to be?
Right.
They're going to be cute little turtle thingies.
Well, no, not what she meets first.
Not the
I don't know what they're called.
What are they called? What do we call them?
Well, we'll see. We'll get subtitled over here.
I still don't get what Balin thinks he's getting out of this. I mean, I still don't see how Balin aligning himself with Thrawn makes sense to Balin. I'm not sure how it makes sense to. Well, I do get how it makes sense to Thrawn. Thrawn's just using him. I mean, he establishes that later, but you know,
Well, and I think we're led to believe that Balin was hired by Elsbeth. Anyway,
Right.
Thrawn didn't even know about him until just
Right.
this is the first time they've even met.
True.
Yeah.
But that's why. But Balin knew that his end game was getting power through Thrawn.
Yeah.
Because he'd mentioned that before, and I just don't see how that would work for him. And here, Thrawn, you know, again with the ultimate tactician, he basically says, "Yeah, we're honoring our agreement to her. She can go find Ezra. We've now fulfilled our agreement. Go kill her."
Yeah, right. But also he told his Padawan that he's not seeking power either.
No.
Like, because she's like, "We'll have power." And he's like,
yeah, he's still been very
power is fleeting. So there's power, just maybe not the kind that they're used to in this cycle.
Right. And he talks about the Sith and the Jedi and going back and forth, and one rises and one falls, that cycle keeps going. And he's trying to end that cycle. He's trying to take it back to the beginning and end that cycle, but we don't know what that means for him.
Yeah.
Right.
So his motivation is still
two more episodes to let us know.
Yeah, 2 episodes. Yeah.
Only 2.
Oh no, they could be leaving us hanging. Who knows? But like, you don't see their face in these helmets.
Yeah, and
these guys, you know, they don't seem that tough, though. To be honest, I don't know what.
Because someone who's tough as a would just shoot her in the face.
Yeah, well, what trashed all those stormtroopers?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why are the stormtroopers all in such rough shape?
Yeah, but when you look at them shoot, they keep shooting at her gun. They keep shooting at her chest. Shoot her in the head. You know?
Well, she keeps putting up her gauntlet when they do.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
she's doing
she's not. She doesn't have her helmet on, but you know she's fought enough without the helmet.
She's just like, go away, people! Like, I don't want to kill all of you.
I was actually kind of impressed with their stamina, I guess, against a lightsaber, because there were. Lightsabers can cut through a lot, and there was a lot that lightsaber was not cutting through. So
I don't know. She took them out pretty effectively.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, but she doesn't go look at them. Come on.
Oh yeah, she didn't raid them for food or.
It's not what she's here for.
Well, but how about food? Since her wolf just took off with the food.
Yeah.
All of her provisions are on her mount there. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to keep calling it a wolf. It's a howler. Yeah, it's a wolf.
And I was looking to see, because a lot of the character and creature design in Rebels is based on old Ralph McQuarrie drawings. You know, like Zeb is actually an original concept for Chewie. So I was trying to find out if the howler concept was pulled from one of McQuarrie's drawings and such, and a kind of quick search didn't really reveal that, but this is not the first time a creature called a howler has appeared in the Star Wars universe, so...
I mean, I'd say it was just pulled right out of Grimm's fairy tales, but...
I mean, a little bit.
Or Lord of the Rings.
True, yeah, they do ride wolves in Lord of the Rings, yeah.
And we're about to meet some turtle hobbits.
Yes.
Turtle Hobbit, yes. The lots of
hobbits, is that what they're calling
I do love this conversation. I love this conversation between her and the howler, you know.
Yes.
I have this kind of conversation with my cat all the time.
It's nice because it brings the mood up a little bit. I mean, things have been pretty serious for the last couple of episodes, and so this little exchange kind of lights things up a bit, which is nice.
Yeah.
Totally reminds me of my dog Frankie so much. Like, he's like, I want to eat that guy. Gotta eat him.
Go away.
So what were they offloading or onloading onto the starship? What were they? What were
I don't
those
know. I mean,
containers?
stuff that they were
Very good
preparing
question.
for, stuff that was in the temple, because they said they had a conversation about how long it was going to take. They needed a day or whatever to basically
3
load up the ship.
rotations.
Yeah, several rotations to load up the ship.
With what?
I'm sure it's nothing good.
Yeah, this exactly feels like a moment between me and my cat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This thing is very dog-like with a rat face.
Yeah.
A bat
Like a
face.
racing
I
dog
kind
with
of
a rat
thought, yeah.
face.
It's very cute though.
Yeah,
It
it's a
is.
fun-
Do we assume this is probably a horse, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I think it's an entirely
Land,
CG construction.
You think so? I mean, the
Yep.
movement, I would think that there's some actual animal there.
They
What was she
probably
writing?
based it, but I mean, at this point, they've got to have such a huge library of animal movement studies.
Yeah, John
And I know
Favreau
that-
basically pioneered that. I mean, John Favreau really advanced the art of that.
The hair is so amazing on the creature. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, what is she writing here then? I would think it's a horse.
I would think it's just some piece of it's like a sawhorse or something. They don't use horses as much as they used to on, especially on lower budget productions because of the safety issues. So oftentimes there won't be a horse at all.
Probably like 4 guys like lifting.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
up,
Yeah, it's she's sitting on a saddle on. They repurposed one of those old mechanical bulls from the country western bars.
The way she was rocking, though, it looked very much like the way a horse walks, and not like the way a dog would walk. So,
well, I'm sure we'll get a making of thing on Disney Plus after this is over.
Yeah, because we're not going to get a new series for years.
I'm putting money on it being entirely a construct, or like Michael said, a couple of stunt guys moving a log back and forth. I don't think it's an actual animal.
Yeah, so the howler sniffs something. She was hoping it to be something useful. I don't know. I'm thinking like even the device that she had, the tracking thing that she had. What is she tracking? I mean,
I don't know what I didn't
Life
understand
forms.
What?
Life forms.
They're tracking like life forms or radio signals or
I guess.
You know, I mean, you watch Star Trek.
Yes.
Looking for life forms.
I guess, because I'm like, okay, what basis is she even using to track Ezra on this like alien planet here? You know.
Well, he would be the only human, wouldn't he?
I guess.
Oh
I
my
do love
gosh,
these things. These things are cute.
he's so cute.
Yes, we get our new Ewoks here.
Yeah.
They're like the way their faces are. We're going to see it in a minute. They're like a cuter version of the aliens from District 9.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
And I love that he's wearing clothes.
Yeah.
I just saw that movie the other day. That's interesting. I'd not spoken about that movie or talked about that movie for at least a decade, and it just came up this weekend because I saw that director did a new movie that's out right now that I saw this weekend.
So these little hermit crab things, especially once we see them in their little village, they remind me a lot of the podlings from Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
So just the little, just the way the puppetry works and all of that type of stuff, kind of their face mannerisms.
I was thinking Men in Black, that they remind me of aliens from Men in Black.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, they're hobbits. They're even dressed like hobbits. Look at
there you walk.
They're absolutely dressed like hobbits.
Yeah, their little waistcoats and.
So yeah, so the rebel symbol there.
He's so cute.
Right. So at least, I mean, that's the thing is like, because I'm thinking, okay, on what basis is she even going to try to find him or try to track him in this completely unknown environment, you know? And now at least we have some visual connection. It's like, okay, he recognizes that symbol. He's wearing that symbol. Okay, they have had some interaction with Ezra, you know?
Right, and it's a nice little parallel to the scene in Return of the Jedi when Princess Leia befriends the Ewok.
Oh yeah.
So my reaction was exactly the same as Howler's. When I saw all the rest of them, I'm like, huh?
Ooh,
dinner.
There's more.
Yeah, I was watching last night with my wife, and I was arguing that Now that the Howler won't eat any of these guys because that would be a little bit grotesque for Star Wars. But then she reminded me of Grogu eating all of that poor frog woman's children.
Eggs, all her children.
Maybe they
But
would.
Grogu's cuter than the Howler, so he gets away with it.
That's true. That's
true. And I'm glad they didn't speak basic.
Yeah,
that would have been a stretch.
Yeah, that really would have been a stretch. We're in another galaxy. We're not even on another planet. We're not even in another, outer rim of the galaxy. We're in another galaxy.
Yeah.
And Star Wars has always acknowledged the idea of different languages and not really tried to dodge around it the way Star Trek does.
Well, and she's a language. I mean, she's like language is one of her studies in the Empire.
Interesting. But they're just the Noti.
So
speaking Noti language.
I'm sticking with turtle hobbits.
I like the Star Wars wipe there. We did have a very Star Wars wipe. We don't see a lot of Star Wars wipes in a lot of the shows.
No, not a lot. I think that maybe they forget to do them.
So now they're just lingering around. They could take off a helmet.
They don't care either, though. They don't care.
Actually, this scene reminded me of. This scene is exactly right out of Princess Bride. They are tracking, Wesley right now.
Yep.
This is exactly the scene of sniffing everything, looking at everything. They're on a rocky terrain. This scene is lifted 100% right out of the Princess Bride. They are tracking the Men in Black. The Man in Black.
The Man in Black.
It was a terrible battle. It raged all over. I miss the idea of it. Interesting. The truth, not the truth, the weakness. I mean, he's got a very interesting perspective. I mean, obviously, he's someone who's traumatized by the Purge. He had his own very specific reaction to it. He didn't go Sith. He didn't go. I mean, a lot of fallen Jedi ended up as those Inquisitors.
Yeah, when I first saw him at the beginning, I thought he was going to be an Inquisitor. So.
Yeah.
I'm glad he wasn't. I'm glad they decided to do something new.
I mean, he didn't go into hiding like Obi-Wan or Yoda or Kanan. Most of them just went underground and just hid. I mean, go ahead.
He may have as well. We don't know what he was doing.
Well, yeah, he had to have survived the last decade somehow, or the last 20 years since the Purge. Because at this point we're 20 years out from Episode 3. So, and that's the thing. He was her age at the Purge. So so he's in his 40s, 50s.
Right.
So this coming up, I thought is pretty interesting because these bandits also speak Noti.
Right. I noticed that too. That it said speaking Noti. Yep.
Or at least that's what the subtitles will have us believe.
Right. That's bandit leader speaking Noti language, so the same language that the little guys were speaking.
Yep.
Unless the subtitle writer just said that it's they're speaking gibberish. Yeah. We'll just call it the gibberish Noti. Noti group speaking Noti language.
I mean, if they all live in the same area, that would make sense.
Yeah, and what we don't know is is Noti the local basic, if you will?
Are they Noti, or is Noti just their basic? Yeah.
Right. And we're back to Lord of the Rings again. We've got hobbits and orcs.
Yeah, and we're walking.
And we got the Harfoot Village.
Yeah, and we're doing a lot of walking. Yes, that's true too.
Oh, so then there are all these cute little guys. They're all looking.
Yeah, they got babies. There's always going to be.
And they have babies too. Damn it!
It's the Ewok village all over again.
Yeah. They got to be cute, and they got to be okay. We got to trust them because they've got babies.
They got to be cute, and then they got to get cuter.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yep, here we go.
That's baby rattle.
Rocking a baby.
Oh, look at him go with his little.
We thought it was interesting that their eyes apparently get smaller as
right.
They get
The face was bigger on the baby.
Looked like a frog. Maybe she didn't.
It totally looked like
one of those other guys.
That kid might have been adopted. We don't know.
It may have been adopted.
It's the mailman's baby.
Right.
All we know is Grogu would have eaten that baby.
Yeah.
It looked like a frog.
Unapologetically, he would have eaten.
Yep.
Here's all. It's like looks like a dessert tray.
Yep.
I'm fully expecting to see
Offer you
something
this-
just like that next week.
Yeah, I'm going to offer you this rock. What are we waiting for? We must be waiting for something. Noti group chattering. We must be building up to something. You know, if we could hear the music, obviously we're building to something here. What kind of moment are we building to?
Maybe we can move it along a little bit. There we go.
Pan slowly.
What?
There it is.
Again,
Yeah.
two audiences who've never watched Rebels. Character we don't know or care about.
Mm-hmm. Except that all the while she's talked on and on about how it's all about going and rescuing.
Right, and he's family and all of that. You saw a drawing of him and all of that other stuff. But
so far he's been the MacGuffin of the story.
Right. I'm actually shocked that we got him in episode 6.
I cannot believe we got him. And Thrawn.
We basically get all the things. We get
Yeah.
Thrawn, we get Ezra, we get the Star Destroyer, we get the Witches of Dathomir. We get all the things.
We got new costumes.
You know what we don't get very much of, though, is the character whose name is the title of the show.
Right. We get 30 seconds at the beginning.
But we did get that, and that's more than I thought we were. But I didn't think,
I am willing to bet money that when all 8 episodes are done, Sabine will have had more minutes of screen time than Ahsoka will have.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
I don't mind it. And you did watch Book of Boba Fett.
I did. Right? I did, yeah.
In season what?
Watching Book of Boba Fett is the positive justification for what?
For not having the main character in
Be the main character, yeah.
Okay.
Series.
There is precedent. That's definitely
there's definitely precedent,
and
there's good precedent.
And it's not a criticism because at this stage of things, it's all just Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not like any of us are not going to watch one of them if it says Star Wars in the title.
And we never thought we were going to have more Star Wars.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Keep getting more, and it keeps getting better. So
so it doesn't really matter whose name is in the title.
And it's better than the Star Wars series I made. Because I haven't made any.
And he's speaking the Noti language too. Obviously, he's been there for a very long time.
Well, yeah, you'd have to learn it.
He's been there like 4 years, I would guess.
What's he been doing this whole time?
Well, learning Noti.
Growing facial hair.
Avoiding Thrawn, probably. Somehow he managed to get away from Thrawn and Thrawn's obviously been looking for him. Yeah, it seemed like he managed to never find him and kill him this whole time.
Yeah. That's a great look they gave him. I like his sort of medieval warrior look that they gave him for the.
Yeah, there's a lot of Japanese inspiration from that too. The chainmail is actually all cord woven. More like the samurai armor.
It just seems like the witches know things when it's convenient. Their prediction powers are at the speed of plot.
Oh yeah. Well,
absolutely.
All right, so help me figure out which one is Claudia Black. This is the important.
A broken clock's twice, right? 2 times a day, right?
Right.
I would think she's small. She would be shorter, no?
Oh no, Claudia Black's very tall.
She's pretty tall.
Oh, okay.
We are getting a much more colorful round of villains than we normally get in Star Wars.
Definitely.
With the blue and the white and the red.
I thought you were talking character-wise more colorful.
No, just entirely visual.
Gotcha.
Normally it's all gray, white, and black for the villains.
Yeah, so he makes up for his color by having lack of personality.
Yeah, we'll show the witches again. So they actually talk about having magic, and they've never talked about that in Star Wars before, and witches and all of that. So we're
so once again require the aid of your dark magic.
Dark magic
with a K.
Well, if you're going to have the Force, it's just a few more steps to having wizards.
Sure.
They're space wizards.
Yes.
Yeah, plus, I think we've pretty well established that this planet they're on is Middle Earth anyway.
So so basically they just told him that they feel a Jedi coming, and he's like, "Oh, that's Ahsoka." As soon as the whale shows up, kill it. Bum bum bum.
What I appreciated is he says star whales, which is very much, in my opinion, allusion to the star whales of Doctor Who, where they had the cities on their back. They called those star whales. So
interesting. I'll keep calling them space whales.
I actually have a shirt that says "Save the Star Whales."
Nice. Well, we got all the things. I mean, that's we got a brief moment with we know Ahsoka's on the way. So it starts off with we see her on the way, and at the end they find out that she's on the way. And the expectation is that at that point she's on the way, and as soon as she shows up, kill her. So that's kind of our tease at the end. But in between, we get all the other things.
Yeah, it was a balancing thing, I think, because the previous episode was all character development, and this one was all plot. This was nothing but
finally
what happens next, what happens next, what happens next. So it was all story and very little actual character development, which is fine. You need both.
Well, we got the long-awaited reunion between Sabine and Ezra, so and we got the long-awaited return of Thrawn. I mean, that's the thing is, having seen the trailers and having discussed the trailers in advance, I think it was a not minority opinion to think that we'd see these things in the last 10 minutes of the final episode. It'd be 8 episodes of building up to those moments. So at least now we've had all these big reveals, and we've had all these new introductions, and now we still have 2 episodes, and we have no idea what the lengths of those episodes are. They may have published it. I don't know. I know there are some sites that will sometimes list knowing in advance what the lengths of episodes are. I have no idea what the length of the next 2 episodes are. So
we can probably assume roughly an hour each, though, I think.
Yeah.
What are they going to be about?
Sorry, what was that?
So what are they going to be about? I think they're building up to like some epic war at about this time.
At the very least, they're building to Thrawn being a credible threat, which means they have to bring him back to the other galaxy so that he can threaten the New Republic. Yeah, so that's what I think will happen.
My assumption always was that this whole series is the lead into Dave Filoni's movie, and Dave Filoni's movie is going to be basically Heir to the Empire. It's not going to follow that story exactly, but it may be titled that, and the idea is it's going to be the Thrawn attacking, and being the big villain, and them having to defeat him, because obviously he didn't win, because we have to get to episode 7 at some point. We're still years away from episode 7. But, I still think that that's, in terms of all the series that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have been doing, that's what we're building to, is we're building to this big, Star Wars movie of Dave Filoni that is kind of that mid in between episode 6 and episode 7, and it's Heir to the Empire.
Except it won't really be, because...
Yeah, it's not going to be the exact same story.
Yeah, well, that story is way too much about the 3 main characters from the original trilogy. They're not going to use
the 3 main characters. It's going to be Dave Filoni's characters. It's going to be Ahsoka. It's going to be the Mandalorian. It's going to be sorry, I'm blanking on the female Mandalorian. Bo-Katan. Those are going to be our core characters.
Sure. So it'll be the Star Wars Avengers.
Yeah.
The Star Avengers.
The Star Avengers.
Yeah. Well, and it'll be the Rebels characters. The Rebels characters will be the core Star Wars characters at that point. Assuming that people like them from this show and actually care about them.
Rebels is actually my favorite Star Wars series. So, I could watch that.
It had the deepest characterization, yeah.
Sure, because it had the advantage of lots of time to develop all those characters.
Yep.
Well, that idea sounds interesting, but at the same time, I hope this series has a bit more of a conclusion than just to be continued.
Yeah,
I don't really like to be continued. I almost threw my popcorn at the screen at the end of the last Spider-Verse movie.
Oh, interesting. Because
I
was in the theater I was in. people went nuts because, but they obviously didn't remember that the very first trailer listed it specifically as part 1, and then they changed their mind on that and took that off.
Well, yeah, and I didn't remember that either. So
yeah,
I didn't watch any of the trailers for Spider-Verse, so I wasn't aware that it was a part 1 until.
Oh, okay. See, I knew that all along. I knew production-wise that they were always planning it, splitting that second movie into 2 parts, and then instead of it being 1 movie in 2 parts, they ended up just deciding to go with 2 separate titles. So they dropped the part 1 off of the title before the second trailer came out. I knew that going into it, but the audience I was in did not, and people were pissed.
Yeah, I didn't either. And I was pissed is too strong a word, because it's getting angry over a Spider-Man cartoon is pretty damn silly.
Yeah, I was surrounded multiple rows around me by mostly Gen Zers.
But yeah, I mean, I'm more and more I appreciate a self-contained story more than an epic that just drags on forever and ever.
And I could be completely wrong. In 2 more weeks, we may be going, okay, Thrawn gets there, they defeat Thrawn, and Thrawn's done. And this series is actually the Thrawn showing up, becoming the villain, and getting defeated. That that could totally be the case here. We'll know in 2 weeks, but it just seems like Thrawn has been built up as a bigger menace, especially mentioning him in The Mandalorian. I mean, having him teased at the end of season 3 of The Mandalorian, it seems like all of the current shows, all of the Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni shows have been building to Thrawn as the big end game.
Yeah. And you're right. They need to treat him as a credible threat. I mean, hopefully they won't do him dirty like they did poor Cad Bane. Or Cad Bane is the one I'm thinking of, who's supposed to be most formidable bounty hunter in the galaxy, and he's dead. The end.
Well, you don't know he's dead.
Yeah, I guess. Then nobody ever really dies in Star Wars.
They definitely teased the possibility of him coming back. I think.
Yeah, I thought there was like an extra little bleep or something going on.
Maybe all good Star Wars villains are blue, I guess, is the other takeaway we have.
It's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
Wait, are Force Ghosts villains now too because they're blue?
Sure, why not? Just for the sake of consistency.
Well, bottom line, really good episode. We got all the things. I mean, we'll have to see. Are the next 2 episodes just going to be getting back and setting up something else, or is it going to be actually concluding this story and having it self-contained? I don't think that's what we're building to here. I mean, we may get to a conclusion, but I think if we do, it'll be a conclusion with a lot of setup.
Sure, with room to move. Yeah, because then you want that. You want room to move, but I don't want a cliffhanger, I guess, is what I'm saying. I'd rather have some kind of conclusion to this story. And yeah, it's fine if they want to hint at what the next story is going to be.
I would have to guess it's going to be akin to, and this is pure speculation, Empire Strikes Back, where it ends on a down note. It ends on our heroes are defeated, but there's clearly more to come.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I'm not going to speculate because I was wrong completely. So yeah.
Well, that's the fun of speculating. I mean,
yeah, I guess so.
That's the whole point. That's why we're here. And thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, Kim and Jefferson. Have a good time at the Galactic Starcruiser.
I will.
We'll hopefully hear about it during the finale of Ahsoka. And then thanks so much for joining us, Erin. You were definitely a welcome addition.
Yeah.
Yep. Hope we get you back. So thanks, everyone. If you want to follow us on Facebook on Binging the Force, if you want to hear this in audio, you can follow us on any podcast client. Just look for Binging the Force in there. And most importantly, like and subscribe us on YouTube to really kind of grow the show on there. Most people, I think, watch this after the fact, don't watch us live. Although we do have 2 people watching live right now. So thank you for watching us live.
Hi, nerds.
One of them's our friend Kevin Chrisley. So thank you, Kevin, for joining us. And for everyone else, like and subscribe us on YouTube at Binging the Force. Thanks, everyone.